throughout the campaign, there has been question over the role of media, the question over ballots, the question over electoral procedure, and questions to democratic institutions. Do you think that whatever the result is, the trust in US's democratic institutions has been undermined, or do you think that things are going to go back to normal now that Trump is probably the winner?
Let me begin answering this. 1788, one of the famous founding fathers of United States, Alexander Hamilton, had endorsed, legitimized, fought for what would we call electoral college, saying that we neither want a direct election for President of the United States, nor we want the Congress to elect US President. And his logic was that electoral college will ensure that men who are brought to the presidency have great character, ability, and capacity to lead this great nation, and no men with what I'm verbally quoting them, with cheap art of popularity will ever join as president. And now it's a way back. 1788 is a long time. I think, therefore, there is a whole need to perhaps recast the whole way United States presidency a president is elected, because invariably there is enormous confusion in terms of each state having its own procedures, 10,000 counting stations with different timings and different way of vetting and certifying at different levels. And today, then on 17th, then on 6th of January, and so on. And one quick point that many people have said before, I'm saying it now here, the way American presidency impacts the rest of the world. There have been people who are asking that he should be elected globally, not just by American citizens, which again brings an issue of interference and so on. But shall we say maybe global citizens would have 1/10 of the value of vote compared to an American citizen. But all kinds of possibilities of imagining of whether the very way of electing an American president has become in many ways dated. And should there be also consideration of reforming the whole process of electing presidents in the United States?
Professor Singh, just a quick point. I think the latest news was that he's also won the popular vote. So is that...
Yeah, I mentioned that in my initial intervention, that unlike 2016, distinction is that this time he is also likely, I will still say, he is likely to win popular vote and become president of United States this time. So in that sense, yes, this is important to underline. But my strong belief is that increasingly in various democracies, voters are intoxicated momentarily and they are made to cast vote without serious thinking about it.
I just say that the sheer sweep of the Trump victory, it's now very clear he has won every single swing state. He has won the popular vote. He has won the Senate. The House is still in play, but he has also kept a hold of the majority of governorships. So this is a Republican wave on us, because normally the Democrats at least always win the popular vote. And so there's really no question. Nobody's going to question this election. It's the sheer size of Trump's victory is simply impossible for anybody to challenge, and there won't be any challenge to this. Trump bizarrely will probably come out and say there was still rigging. I should have won more. That's what he did last time he won, but that will be only him. But the real damage to the American institutions was more about January 6th, the insurrection that took place, in which a sitting president was calling upon an insurrection against his own government. And of course the battles that we saw in going back to the Bush-Al Gore battle in Florida and so on. Those are the issues, and to some degree a lot of the states have tried to correct some of those issues. But yeah, partly because of polarization and so on and so forth, we will continue to see this battle or these type of strange legal, or a lot of sort of local elections, state elections keep going back to the courts to make a final call, simply because of the somewhat informal nature of the way America conducts its election. Constitutional amendments have probably, however, taken a major crisis because they're extraordinarily difficult in the United States. But I'll just add on the Electoral College, while Hamilton did make that argument, the underlying reason for it was slavery, that the southern states had population, but a large chunk of that population did not have votes. So the southern states wanted to maintain the seats in so you had a situation with the southern states that if they had gone by popular votes, they were certain to lose every election because so many of their own people are disenfranchised. So they wanted to have a voting structure which reflected the population of the states, but not the popular vote strength of the states, which is why the Electoral College was designed to keep the Union together because of the need to preserve slavery.
Just a quick thought on media. I think, since I'm also part of the media, I think we need to reflect on our own role. You know, I think The Economist came out and endorsed Kamala Harris. We had Washington Post, Jeff Bezos just not wanting to get into this. The LA Times owner not wanting to get into this. The New York Times, again, very supportive of Kamala Harris. So my own sense is that maybe we in the media need to listen to people outside and not have this, as Pramit was saying, a conversation, it seems, among ourselves. Because The Economist coming out, endorsing her, the New York Times also to some extent a very biased coverage where Trump is the bad guy and Kamala is the good person. So I think it's time for the traditional media maybe to take a look at where we are going.